Good morning, YouTube. This is Bellator with George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, I'm decided I need to catch up a little bit on my MMA. Not much is going on. The Olympics ended. It's gonna be a while before we see any shows for women's bodybuilding. There is the Arnold Schwarzenegger amateur coming up, and they have women's bodybuilding and women's physique. And I'm not going to waste my time talking about the main show because it's like I said, it's the show that which Arnold has walked hard behind both women's bodybuilding, women's physique, and even now figure, and stabbed them in the heart. So anyway, I'm a fan of this lady right here. She has been competing for a little over 10 years in MMA. I would say she's a pioneer of the sport. And this lady I've talked about on my channel, and I want to talk about today. She just announced that she's now going to go to Bellator. She has become a free agent. And this is one Sarah McMann, or I like to call her Sarah Muscle McMann. And as you know about Sarah, Sarah's been, she's one of the top wrestlers in the world, also a top wrestler in MMA. She started out, she's originally born in Maryland, but she did live here in North Carolina for a bit when she was a teenager, where she wrestled. But back in those days, it was like in the early 90s, they didn't like the idea of women wrestling, especially young girls wrestling against boys, or even just a period of women wrestling at all. But she was determined. She was able to wrestle, and she wrestled a good part in high school and then also in college. She did she did really get more inspired after the murder of her brother Jason, who was killed in '99. He was found dead and shoved into a trunk of a car. And it's just sad, to lose your brother. He himself was a good wrestler. He had a good future. He was just 21 years old, but it's just messed up how it happened to him. But later on, like I said, she competed for Olympic trials and qualified, but she did not win gold. She got silver in 2004. And I said, that's a good thing. I mean, you get to the next level and you win silver. That's been anything. Because you think about it, there's quite a few women in mixed martial arts that have like Olympic background. People like Ronda Rousey, who's a bronze medalist. You have Hype Jam Harrison, who is a double gold medalist, and also a double gold medalist like Clarissa Shields. But like I said, she still wanted to go on. She's in grappling tournaments and some more wrestling, and doing in other countries and internationally. But in 2009, well, she had her daughter Bella with her ex-boyfriend and trainer. And then she decided she wanted to go to the next level. And MMA was really growing up, was really developed by then. You guys, organizations like Strike Force and Victor and Bellator, coming up. And, she started her career in 2011, when Bella was much older. She made a debut and she won. She also fought against people like Talia Everett, who's, I would say, a legend in the sport. She also fought against other fighters as Christy Marks, and also she fought against and Invicta. She fought against Shan Baszler. As you know, Shan Baszler was also one of these legends. She fought in other organizations. I think Shan Baszler had a stint in UFC for a minute. And then she got off a fight against Liz Carmouche in Strikeforce, but she had an injury. When that fight never happened. But then next year, she got opportunity to get to the UFC, where she fought against Ronda Rousey, who was in the bantamweight champion. But she lost to Ronda the first round with a knee strike, a body shot, and this body shot could take you out. So it was frustrating. She was like on a tear. She was like undefeated, and then she loses to Ronda Rousey. But then she took another fight where she faced against Miesha Tate. But before that, she fought Lauren Murphy and she beat her. But then she took two losses against Miesha Cupcake Tate by majority decision. And then she was choked out by Amanda the Lioness Queen. And that was just that same year against Tate. Then she fought against people like Jessica Andrade, Alexis Davis, and also Gina Mazzani, defeating them all three, going on like a 3-fight winning streak. And then she had opportunity to maybe get up to maybe a title shot down the road. She faced against Caitlin Vieira, where she got choked out with her arm triangle choke, and that is bad. These chokes get her. Her weakness is choke. Then she went against Marion Renault, who was also I'm a fan of, and Marion choked her out too with a triangle choke. And it's just it was just tough luck. Chokes are a weakness. But then in Later around in 2018, she announced that she was pregnant. This was like maybe a couple of months after her last fight against Marion Renault. So that's when she had in the end of 2018, she had a son, Lucas. And for a while, she wasn't doing anything. She was doing some grappling tournaments for a couple of years, for a year in 2019, and she was training to get back into the UFC. But she made her return in 2020 when she faced against Lynn Lyonsberg, and she won that fight by decision, unanimous decision. Now, she was supposed to fight Aspen Ladd that same year, but Aspen Ladd, she always had weight issues. That fight never happened. And then she fought Juliana Pena in that 2021, and she lost to Pena by a rear naked choke, and chokes are her weakness. Once you get her back, you get Sarah's back, she just can't. It's just one of I think rear naked chokes, any kind of choke, is a kryptonite. And for a while, 2020, she posted that for Vieira again, but then, it was the early stages of the virus still going around 2021. That fight was canceled because I think Vieira had an injury. And then she was inactive for pretty much that, and I think the entire rest of that year. I mean, she hadn't fought since the 1st of January of 2021 and was pretty much inactive. And then she didn't get a first fight until the next year. She did some, tournaments here, some wrestling tournaments, some grappling tournaments, try to stay busy and active. Also, she started a new career. She became a coach and trainer for women in wrestling. I think she has her own school for wrestling and training women and training women. I mean, that's pretty good for her. Now she's going to train the next generation in this sport, maybe even to MMA too. But then she finally came back around about March, where she faced against Carla Rosa, and she defeated Carla Rosa by just using her wrestling. She just kept it on the ground. Carla Rosa, she beat Beth Correia the year before. And that was Beth Correia's last fight against Carla Rosa. And Carla Rosa looked like she was probably on the tear, but at least Sarah stopped her. And there was talk that maybe Sarah may be next in line for a title, which is a couple more fights. But, she didn't fight for most of 2022. She was looking for fights. She had a couple of fights. She supposed to have fought Aspen Ladd, but those fights fell through. And, she tried to act, tried to stay busy, and I respect Sarah about that. But like I said, the last fight she was supposed to have, finally supposed to be Aspen Ladd, but then Aspen Ladd didn't make weight. And this was all the way back in September. And, we all know what happened to Aspen Ladd. She got cut. So I think Sarah just got frustrated. She decided to spend time with her family, with her daughter and her son, and also her boyfriend, Chad. So I think, just sitting there just waiting for fights, she decided, you know what, I'm just going to move on, and go to another organization where there's probably more opportunities for me. And that's Bellator. I know Bellator gets to talk about how it's like the graveyard for old fighters. But like I said, some of these fighters who want to stay active, they want some place to do. And Sarah has a passion for the sport. Also, she has a passion for wrestling. She's now training the next level of women's Olympic wrestlers. And that's a good job for her. But she still, like I said, she still has a passion to fight. And, you can't deny that passion for fighting. But like I said, she's a mom first for anything. But also, she's also a competitive fighter. And it's like anything with a lot of these fighters. They still have a passion for sport, even though they're getting. Sarah's in her early 40s, but still, she's still healthy. She's still, in good condition. I have people I'm looking at people like Holly Holm, who's, in her. I think Holly's just maybe a year or two older than Sarah, but she's been fighting a lot longer as a boxer. I remember that fight against her and Stephanie Mathis. That fight was brutal. I mean, I don't know why the referee didn't stop it. I think he must have been the uncle of Steve Mazzagatti, or the grandfather of Mario Masaki. But like I said, Sarah still wants to be an active fighter. Now going over to Bellator. It's 145 there, where she don't have to cut his weight as bad. I think with her being much older, it's a lot harder when you get to that age to try to cut down to 135, especially if you're somebody walking around at 150, 160, and then you have to cut down almost a little over 20 pounds your body weight. It's not difficult for a woman. It can really affect their body chemistry. But now with 145, she might just better cut maybe 15 pounds at the most. And it'd be a lot easier to recover from that than, trying to cut down practically to over 20 pounds. But like I said, I'm a big fan of Sarah McMann. I mean, I think, like I said, I admire her as a wrestler, as a mother. Like I said, also I admire her physique. As you know, I'm a muscle purse smo, and she does have a good amount of muscle. She has some guns on her. But like I said, she has a good future. If not, say when she retires from MMA, well, I think she has a career as a coach and trainer in wrestling, and also maybe train the next generation of MMA fighters. I think like this. I would say with her, open a school and just exclusively train women. Because a lot of women, they need someone like that. They go to these training camps mostly with where there's mostly men, and it can be difficult. Women are not the same as men, and sometimes some guys, like my man coach says, they hold back. But like I said, with things slowing down for me in the bodybuilding world, I'm gonna do some more stuff on MMA. As my channel does, try to dedicate a little something to MMA because I'm a fan of women in MMA. Because like I said, these women, I see the similarities to that to women's bodybuilding. They don't get much respect, recognition, or money. But like I said, I would say wish good luck to Sarah McMann. Maybe over in Bellator, she get an opportunity to become a champion. I think Cyborg has one more fight in the contract she's waiting for. Kat Zingano get some courage. I think more likely there could be a chance that we might see, Kat and Sarah fight each other. I'm surprised they hadn't happened when they were all this time they were in UFC, but you know how things are. But anyway, much respect to Sarah McMann, or I like to call her Sarah Muscles McMann. Anyway, this is me on the way, George Page, aka the Emperor of WWE Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.